morning chaos and bedtime battles with your kids? Watch this video for the one simple tool that you can use to help your routines run smoothly. This is Motherhood Uncorked. I'm your host, Courtney, and if you want the best advice to help you really thrive in motherhood and live a life worth celebrating, then definitely subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified of when I put out a new video every Thursday. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. We have a super exciting episode in store for you today. I am here with Tia Slightham.
Hi, thanks for having me.
She is a parenting educator, so she is here today to share with us the one tool that you can use to help your routines run smoothly. She's used this tool for herself. She shared it with hundreds of her clients, and it's helped them tremendously. So now it's your turn to try and implement this tool. So
exactly.
Let's get some mom juice flowing.
Perfect.
And we will get right into it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Yummy.
Okay, so before we get into the big reveal about the tool, why don't we talk a little bit about why routines are so important for children?
Okay. Routines are so important for kids because throughout their day, they need some power and some control. All day long as parents, because it's our job, we're telling them what to do. You need to brush your teeth. You need to get out the door. It's time for bed. Grab your shoes. Pack your soccer gear. Constantly, we're telling. If they have a set routine and some consistency, it gives them a sense of power and control of what's coming next. What's their routine for the day. If it's a weekend routine, it gives them some reassurance that the weekend might differ from the weekdays, but the routine in itself is the same. What kids really need that routine and strive on routine. That's why kids at school often, parents will say to me, my kids are amazing at school. When they come home, they're a nightmare. Because at school, there are really firm, clear boundaries and routines.
Right. Okay. So I think it's probably a struggle for everybody in the morning. You're trying to get your kids ready for school. You have some sort of routine, but they don't want to follow it. Or, you don't have any kind of routine and every day is a little bit different, trying to get all the same things done in a different order. And same with bedtime. You're trying to get your kids to bed, and oftentimes we end up threatening, yelling,
punishing,
battling, crying,
feeling guilty.
Them crying, you crying.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just an absolute disaster. So there is a tool that we can use to help the whole thing run smoothly from start to finish the majority of the time.
For sure.
So what is that tool?
So I'm going to share with you guys today a tool that about charts. Charts are really a visual cue for your child to know what you expect of them. So our kids have two jobs in life, and one is to please you and one is to push boundaries until boundaries are found. The problem is parents have gray boundaries a lot of the time. We give in, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we go to bed in 10 minutes, sometimes we go to bed in 30 minutes. This gray area for our kids makes their job really hard because they have to keep pushing until they find the boundary. That's another reason why at school things go so well, because things are really black or white. There's not a lot of gray area, but because we are emotionally tied to our kids, I'm emotionally tied to my boys, it makes it hard to keep those black and white boundaries, and we often go a little bit gray. And when we go gray, that's where you find power struggles and the constant back and forth of them wanting to stay up later or not brush their teeth or not do the things that you really need your kids to do. So you get a lack of cooperation. So in my house and in all my clients, I recommend to them using charts. So I brought a couple charts today. Each chart is going to need to differ for age. And they need to be age appropriate. So if you have kids who are as young as 2, you can start using charts. The thing about it is it needs to be a place for them to have success. Your 2-year-old will not have 15 things on a chart.
No.
They may have 2. Brush teeth, take off clothes. Brush teeth, put jammies on. Brush teeth, hop in bed. Whatever it is you want them to do, and then you build off of it. You start small, give them an opportunity for success, and then you build off of it. So for young kids, ages 2, for early literacy skills and early learning years, I would say ages 2 to 6, you're going to want to implement charts that have pictures with print.
Right.
And the reason this is important is that if they're not yet reading, they are able to follow the chart with the pictures.
Right.
It also helps with early literacy skills. Emergent readers will benefit from the fact that they now know that this print has meaning. All these little jumbled letters are pajamas.
Right.
Over time, you can cover up the words, or cover up the pictures, excuse me, and you can now have your child read their chart. As time goes on, you might use a chart that doesn't have any words on it or any pictures, and they're going to fill in what needs to go on it.
Okay.
As your kids get older, you'll develop their own charts. These charts are really beautiful. You can get them online and print them for free at iheartorganizing.com. My boys are 7 and 10, like I mentioned. They create their own charts. They get a ruler out. They draw the lines in the beginning of the school year, which day's library, which day's soccer uniform.
Okay.
They're not as pretty as these, but I let that part go. So
they get the job done.
Yeah, they get the job done, and it's important. They feel independent. They feel a sense of power. They're in control of it, and it gives them a chance to feel really successful in their day. The key is that when you set your chart up, you set it up in a successful manner, which means you include your child. You get down with your child and create a chart together. The more you include your child, the more invested they will be. It's more about them. This is all about them. This isn't about you, although it is about you because you're taking the workload off of you and you're giving your child more responsibility and making it easier for you, but it's also about them. So our kids have emotional needs of power and attention. If they're not filled daily, they're going to ask for it. These charts help fill up their part of their power needs each day.
Okay.
It's really important. So what you want to do is sit down with your child, develop the chart together, be sure they can be successful on everything on that chart, and then you got to practice. Parenting is all about discipline, and discipline, the definition of discipline is to teach and to train. So what we're doing all day long as parents is teaching and training. Oftentimes parents get confused between discipline and punishment. They are entirely different things. So with disciplining your kid, you're going to teach and train them all the skills you want them to have as they become adults.
Right.
So once you train and you take time, it's kind of fun to role play. Kids like to role play charts. So if you've got a morning routine or a bedtime routine chart or both, they like to put you to bed. You go through, you brush your teeth, you put your jammies on, you choose your books, whatever it is on the chart, and then they put you to bed. Oftentimes, it gives them a sense of control and power to be the one in charge. It also is a great way for you to model how you want them to do the chart.
Okay.
When they are putting you to bed or getting you out of the house in the morning, you can think to yourself out loud, oh, I guess I need to get my coat because we're about to go. Do I have my water bottle ready? And you can kind of think out loud so that you can role model for them what you expect.
Okay, so when do you have to stop the role playing? Like, when does it become they're trying to manage you?
You are only going to role play 1 or 2 times until you know they understand the chart. It's only another way to teach and to train.
What do you do when the chart's just not working for you one day? Like, my 4-year-old, like, he's a big goofball, and I don't know if it's a stalling tactic or whatever it is, but between the things he's supposed to do in the morning, he goofs off, like, huge time. Like, it takes probably about 5 minutes to transition between each thing he needs to be doing because he's busy, you know, putting his pants on his head or, you know, putting his socks on his hands or just being completely silly. Do you just allow extra time in the routine for goofing off or like?
So a couple things. I would allow extra time, especially in the beginning when things are new. But I would also ask yourself during those times of silliness, what's happening? Is he getting attention from you? Is it keeping you from doing something else because you're going to be where he is? If so, that behavior is working wonderfully for him. Kids will only do what works for them.
Okay.
And if they are fooling around or refusing to cooperate and you are responding to them and you are showing up at their door and reminding, which is what we don't want to do with our charts, reminding and nagging and get ready, pants off, come on, let's go, they're getting a giant dose of undue attention. That's attention that's not necessary.
Okay.
And it's working for them. So we want to step back and set it up in advance to let them know. So one tool, if you're having a staller or somebody who fools around, is a timer. Timers are amazing. There's a timer I love on Amazon called the Time Tracker. It is, I think it's $33. If you have Prime, it'll come today. But it's amazing because it has a red light for when the timer goes off, a yellow light for a warning, which is awesome for kids who struggle with transitions, and then it's green when you begin. So you get to set your warning time. If you need to get out of the house in 30 minutes, you will set your timer for 30 minutes. It will go green. When you have 5 minutes left, it will buzz and go yellow, and all your kids will know, oh gosh, I need to be ready, or I'm going to have to go to school in my jammies, or I'm going to have to be ready, or I won't have my water bottle packed. That is something you need to set up while you're training, that you're going to give your kids X amount of time to get ready, and if they're not ready, what is your plan? For some parents, that plan is that they're going to get dressed at school. For other parents, for me in my house, I leave at X amount, whatever time it is, and if you're ready, great, and if you're not, you go as is. My job is to get you to school on time. Your job is to get ready.
Okay.
So you want to set yourself up and give them some choice. Giving your kids some choice around their charts and in their world in general gives them some more power. So either you get ready before the timer goes off, or you go to school in your jammies and tell your teacher that you need to get dressed at school. Are you prepared to do that? It's you.
My child would just stay in his pajamas all day.
So,
he often wants to go to school in his pajamas.
So and if that's okay to go to school in their jammies, sometimes not all of our kids' problems are our problems.
Right.
We often take on too much and we try and control too much. We're not perfect. Life's not perfect. Our kids aren't going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. Not making all of our kids' problems is a really important thing to remember as parents.
So just let him go to school in his pajamas if that's what he wants to do.
Well, I would not let my kids go. I would give them a choice.
Okay.
And that choice would be that they need to walk in and tell their teacher why they are not dressed.
Okay.
That you had 30 minutes and I didn't listen to my mommy, or I refused to cooperate, and that I'll go in with you and I'll wait with you while you tell your teacher why you're not dressed. Kids don't want to own up to that stuff. They don't want to when you position it in a way that it's their problem, they're not interested. If it's your problem and you're frustrated that they're in their jammies, now it's great because it's giving them attention. It's your problem.
So they've got the chart. They're doing a chart. Successful. Do you reward them?
It's a great question. Okay, so rewards are a very interesting thing. Most parents want to use rewards. If you finish your homework, you can have a sticker. If you do this, we'll go for ice cream. The problem with rewards is that becomes the motivator. And over time, they're not motivated by that motivator. You might start with stickers and they're very excited at first to get a sticker on their chart. But then next week, the sticker's kind of meh. And then they want to up the ante. Now they want to go to the toy store for something after they finish it. Or they need something electronical. Like everything ups the ante each time you give a reward. So what happens is their extrinsic values are being heightened and we're taking away from their intrinsic motivators. So, for example, when kids are learning to read, you don't want to give rewards for finishing a book because now what's important is that reward, not the fact that they actually just read a book. You want them to intrinsically feel motivated and proud by what they do. So completing the chart without a reward just means this is part of life. We live in this household together. We all have our duties. We all have to take care of ourselves. It's just part of our world. You don't get rewarded for doing what needs to be done.
Right. So I feel like one of the ways that you can get them so they feel kind of proud of what they've done and they've accomplished something is can you laminate your chart and put like a check mark?
100%. So if your child is somebody who is type AAA like myself and you like to check off things and get your lists organized, you can do just that. You can laminate and put it in their room somewhere accessible for them. You can also print dozens of copies. And at the end of each day, they recycle and they do another one. You will save paper and trees if you laminate. If they don't want to hang it on the wall, another thing you can do is kids love clipboards. It puts them really in charge. They feel like they're the boss. And you can clip your chart to the clipboard and you can tie it even with a piece of yarn, your pencil at the bottom of it. It keeps it all together. So
or your dry erase marker.
Or your dry erase marker if you're laminating. This way they're not searching for the pencil. They can't find the marker. It's all together as a little package. And kids will literally walk around and brush their teeth and be like, check, yep, did that. Move to their jammies, yep, done that. They feel super in charge and empowered. And then at the end of the day, find a parking spot for that clipboard. The last thing you need is it to be 7:30 in the morning. You're trying to get out the door and I don't know where my clipboard is. Where's my chart? We don't want that. Find a parking spot. Ask your kids where would be a really great parking spot. If they don't know, help them and brainstorm that. And then every night or every morning when they're done their routines, they will park it in their parking spot. That'll save you some time and energy. And our goal as parents is to save time and energy with kids.
Yes. Give you more time for the fun stuff.
Yes.
Or the essential
more
stuff.
energy on fun times and moments with your kids instead of battling and negotiating and power struggles.
Okay. Right. Well, that sounds really great. So I will put the links to where they can download those charts in the description below. Or you can make your own. Maybe you can just go look at the samples and come up with something that's going to work for you. If you have any other questions about routines or charts or parenting struggles in general, Tia does it all. She has her master's in early childhood education as well. So she really knows what she's talking about. So if they want to find you, consult with you about anything or get more information on something, where can they find you?
They can find me at tiaslightum.com. The spelling's not easy, so I know Courtney will put it down below for you. Yes. But if you have any questions, my website's got free articles. I do Tuesday videos. I answer your questions. Know that if you're struggling with your charts in the beginning, to give yourself a little bit of a break. And if you're struggling with sleep, that is where you want to start before you start with your charts. If you're having any sleep issues, kids are out of bed in the middle of the night or waking a lot, you want to start first with a really positive sleep routine. If you have any questions around that, you know where to find me.
I also have another interview that I did with a sleep consultant, so I'll link that below as well if you want to check that out. I will put all the links to Tia's social media and websites in the description below, along with my social media. All right, if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please give it a like, leave a comment below on your biggest takeaway, and share it with your friends. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified next week when I put out my video on Thursday. Cheers!
Cheers!